I know what you're asking yourself right now. You're like, hey, there's no Gotham. There's no Pennyworth. What's going on? Well, the Arrowverse may abandon you for the holidays, but we will not. Welcome back to Before the Bats. Finally counting them up. Episode 135.
Woohoo!
I am Bill, and joining me on this journey into the past is...
Hey y'all, it is Lil Hellfire for way before the bat.
See, we figured, hey, we have no Arrowverse to cover for the, end of December, beginning of January. So, hey, let's tackle some classic Batman stories.
You can never go wrong with a classic Batman story.
Never go wrong with the Batman. Just ask DC Comics.
Cash cow.
Batman paying the bills.
Oh yes, I love that. That needs to be a drop.
Batman paying the bills. Their editor, get on that. Okay. All right, so for the first of our little specials, we are covering Blind Justice from Detective Comics 598 through 600.
Okay, were you inspired by Batman's grave or whatever to do this one?
No, I mean, I kind of just enjoyed it, and it's, I don't know. Well, again, the first and last part of this are like oversized issues because it was part of Batman's 50th anniversary back in '89.
Well, we got that topped off.
Yeah, it's something a little different, and it's '89. Boy, I wonder what was coming at this point. And it was written by Sam Hamm.
Haim, I believe is how it's pronounced.
Hamm?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like Sam Hamm. Come on.
I know.
All right, so Sam Hamm, for those of you who don't know, is an American screenwriter who is he's known for co-writing the screenplay for Tim Burton's Batman and the story for Batman Returns.
You don't say.
Yes.
Don't say.
Well, at 89, so they're like, hey, I got a guy who wrote on the Batman movie. Let's get him for the comics.
I mean, it's not like it hasn't happened after either. So.
I mean, not a bad plan, Batmania was in full effect in '89, so.
So very true. Only to be topped by Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Mania.
Oh, it's funny? I guess TBS was having like a mini Batman marathon today. They played the '89 Batman. They played Batman Returns. I think Batman Forever's on there right now, and that's it. They're going to do like a Transformers or something after Batman Forever. Somebody over there knows what they're doing.
Yeah, TNT. Good on them.
No, I think it was TBS, I think.
Oh, really?
One of those T channels, yeah.
That's shocking, because TBS only plays Big Bang Theory reruns, as far as I know, and baseball from Atlanta Braves.
I would bet you after whatever movie's on after Batman Forever, they're probably going to put on Big Bang Theory. Usually on Saturday nights, I think they have it.
Yeah, that's all. It's got to be TNT. Ain't no way TBS on a Saturday is playing anything other than Big Bang Theory.
Again, Batman pays the bills.
Oh, true.
All right, so should we jump into this Blind Justice? Nobody was blind in this.
Well, what's his face has a hood on in the cover.
True. Or is that the Bone Crusher?
You misunderstand. I don't have a scheme. I am the scheme. Bone Crusher.
That is so Lil Hellfire dialogue.
It is. Oh,
Third
God.
date. I don't have a scheme. I am the scheme.
Oh, and it's kind of like this is the Dennis O'Neil is like an editor right now.
Mm-hmm.
In this particular era, so that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, classic Batman story. It opens up with Bruce in bed having a nightmare about his parents.
About the night his parents died, but he's holding the gun.
Batman's
what?
gun. Yes.
Alone in his room.
Oh, speaking of Batman Damned in full dong. I mean, yeah, he wakes up, his midsection covered in shadow.
Dong is a medical term.
That's right.
Professor Esser didn't challenge it, so I think we're good to go.
Oh, he's not a doctor. He's a professor, remember?
Yes, he didn't go to evil doctor medical school.
If Professor Esser and Master Doom don't challenge it, we're good.
Yeah, couldn't see that way.
So Bruce wakes up and the bat signal's up, which I'm like, why is he home at night? Does he usually out at night and sleep?
He's trying to take a break, bro. It's strenuous being Batman. He wanted a night off, but Gordon's like, nah, homie, we gotta roll out.
Yeah, I call
that signal.
Well, this one is weird because they meet at the city morgue and Gordon's
Batman's
like, yeah,
favorite place.
Yeah.
And it's only like skin and muscle and no shape because all the bones have been crushed. And you're like, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me guess. Bone crusher, right?
I think so, yeah, because the other body in a tub because, yeah, it just keeps sloshing off the table, I think Gordon said.
Tasty.
And if that didn't drive it home, the janitor comes over and takes a look and just vomit, right in the vomit.
Jeannie Bowen.
Yes. The young blonde who just finally showed up in Gotham looking for her brother.
As you do. I told him not to go to Gotham.
Gotham just swallows up these naive people from the Midwest. But yeah, she passes two homeless men, little suspecting, she's going to meet the one later.
Obvious foreshadowing is foreshadowing.
All right, before we get too far, further into this, I meant to ask you in the beginning, had you read this before I had said, hey, let's do this?
Yeah, I read it, but it was not memorable.
Yeah. Again, it's it's a guest writer, and it's nothing, this never gets brought up again.
Yeah, exactly.
Has no effect on continuity. It could have taken place at the time, but yeah, it has no effect on continuity.
I actually got this. I found a bin of Batman stuff from 88 to 2000 at a garage sale, and this was in that batch. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think I think I started picking up Batman and Detective. I think it was the arc immediately after this. That's when I first started collecting. So I think I picked this up in the 90s or early 2000s.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Gordon takes Batman to the scene of a jewelry store has been robbed.
Yeah.
But their vault was only empty. The liquefied body was the night watchman.
Yummy.
But there's a big hole in the wall because whatever liquefied the guard put a hole in the wall.
I see.
I love the line. Gordon's like, "This job could give you nightmares," and Batman's like, "I almost wish it could, so I could do it to change." Because
how gritty and brooding.
I know, because then he goes home and you see him sleeping again and having the same nightmare.
Whatever could this mean? Maybe I should call a psychiatrist, Vicky Vale.
Well, it doesn't help when Alfred wakes him up. He's like, "Sir, you've been asleep for a whole 40 minutes."
Oh yeah, he only sleeps 12 minutes a night or some stupid thing like that.
Oh yeah, didn't they say that in the beginning? He knows all these Middle East, these Tibetan techniques that where an hour of sleep is does the work of 8.
Yeah, I had that in college. It was called Adderall.
Could that be why he's having these recurring nightmares?
Something to look into, people.
So yeah, then he goes down to the cave and do tests on the concrete from the break-in. And
if he just donated some money to Gotham PD, he wouldn't have to have his own lab. Just saying. He could trust those test results.
Gotham's too corrupt.
Yeah, because Bruce is a stingy bastard. But anyway. And
then Jeannie Owen shows up at Wayne Tech, because that's where her brother used to work till he disappeared.
Convenient plot point is convenience.
And Mitchell Riordan, who the little weasel working there, says, there must be some mistake. We checked our computer records. He never worked here.
Well, Batman's a cannibal, confirmed. Not only is he selling babies, he's eating them. Congratulations.
Jeez. So, yeah, she runs out all crying because she's like, I thought I'd finally found my brother. I guess they were separated when they were little.
Yeah.
And then we go back to night. Batman about to break up a drug shipment coming in from San Cristobal. And as he says, coming in on a garbage scow, how appropriate.
I was just about to say, yeah, how appropriate.
The trash, bringing in the trash. And all of a sudden, he's worried like about laws and stuff because he's like, have to be patient, have to wait till the money changes hands. I'm like, who are you, a cop all of a sudden?
He wants it to stick, homie.
I guess. But he's a vigilante. I mean, how...
Maybe he secretly deputized like Oliver was. I don't know.
I was going to say, if they can't throw it out, you know, because he's a man in a mask. But that's when the ship blows up and we see the Bone Crusher. Hey, look, we have a theme today. Another guy who can zip up his vest.
Those pec muscles are too strong, homie.
He's got some kind of weird dish on his wrist.
I believe that's the first smartwatch.
Oh! Wayne Tech. And Batman finally figures out, hey, there's this on his wrist. He must be firing a low-frequency sonic pulse. Because he starts getting a headache. He's like, maybe this explains that headache. Can't be lack of sleep or nothing. And... that's when Batman sees Bone Crusher just shooting the sonic pulses at guys and looks like he vaporizes a guy's jaw.
Looks like, is this Black Canary's brother? Is that what's going on here?
Damn. And basically, I guess Bone Crusher's just like going through the drug dealers until Batman swoops down and kicks him in the head. And he's shooting blasts at Batman. He says, I've been half expecting you.
Sure you were, buddy. Sure you were.
That's when Batman like takes a broken oar and like stabs Bone Crusher in the.
I was like, that was a little rash.
He's like, he's big and got muscles, but he's slow. He has basically no reflexes.
Well, yeah, that's how a lot of big fighters are. They just rely on their size and sheer intimidation.
So
I can see that.
It's as if he's unfamiliar with his body. But Bone Crusher knocks Batman off the pier into the water. But Batman comes up and it's like, hey, man, he's bleeding like a stuck pig. He just follows the trail of blood to a warehouse.
Man, there are a lot of abandoned warehouses in Gotham.
Yep.
Somebody should do something about that. They did take all the burned down houses in Detroit that they could, so just saying.
Man, the supervillain real estate market is booming, Lil Hellfire.
I guess.
They just build warehouses at this point, and they're like, just leave them abandoned, man. We'll make money off the supervillains.
Somebody will come along and want this eventually.
Exactly. So Batman tracks him to the Bone Crusher to the roof of the warehouse.
That is where Batman lives, homie. You do not want to be on rooftops in Gotham.
He even tells him, he's like, stop, I got a tranquilizer dart right here with your name on it. And Bone Crusher's just going on about, my gear's broken. He's like, I understand what you do. Why you do it. It's quite exhilarating.
Is it though?
And Batman's basically telling him stop. He's like, no. He's like, but I do appreciate the workout. It's been a pleasure. And he jumps off the roof of the warehouse on some power lines.
Yeah, that was like, okay.
And Batman's like, well, it's almost like he wanted to do that, but why?
Find out next issue.
Why? I know. It's like, why would he kill himself?
I was like, what is this, year one Batman? Are you that naive?
And basically, Gordon and the cops show up in the morning to clean up, and he's like, "I didn't know sound waves could be so destructive." And then we get the explanation of ultrasound and infrasound waves.
Thank you for this educational grant moment.
What? One above the frequency of human hearing, and one below it. As Batman explains.
Put that in your cap. We'll need that later.
Yes. Ultrasound is focused and directional. It hits like a power driver. Infrasound is more insidious. It resonates, sets up internal vibrations. The target literally shakes itself to bits. So now we know what happened to the Night Watchman and the wall.
Aw, it's a bummer that he didn't actually crush them.
Yeah. Who's he?
False advertising.
Who is he? Bane? This is before Bane.
I know. He kind of looks like Bane.
He does. Yeah. And
just saying.
And Batman's
somebody owes somebody money, maybe.
Maybe. Sam Haim. But yeah, Batman said that his equipment must have cost a small fortune. I don't think he was in it for the money.
I don't think any of his villains are ever in it for the money.
And then Batman literally rides off into the sunset.
For now.
Sunrise. I'm sorry. Sunrise. Yeah, I know. And then we get homeless guys talking about having weird dreams. The same weird dream.
What's going on here?
And the one guy, the blonde guy who Jeannie walked by before said, he's like, I didn't have the same dream. I had a strange violent one. I was on a dock and I was huge and I was fighting Batman.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Foreshadowing.
This can't end well.
Yes. Chapter 2, we see Jeannie talking to the private detective she hired, who just so happens to have Bruce Wayne's phone number.
Yeah, as a billionaire, if you can't manage to get your phone number unlisted, I don't even know what you're doing with your life.
Well, they almost seem like friends or... Oh, he says he's one of our major funders, so Bruce is funding this detective agency?
Who is he, Ralph Dibny? No, wait. He's friends with Elongated. No, yeah, Plastic Man. So no, it can't be Ralph Dibny. Never mind. I don't even know what we're doing here.
So after he makes the call, the private detective brings Jeannie to meet Bruce. And of course, cute blonde Bruce, can't say no.
How dare you, sir?
He's looking
to help everybody, sir.
That night he's laying in bed thinking about her. Come on.
How dare you, sir?
And again, too, it's like, Bruce sympathizes with people who've lost family and stuff.
Sure, that's what he was sympathizing with.
I know. But then he gives her a tour of Wayne Tech the next day. And they meet Dr. Harbinger.
And we never saw them again.
Remember Harbinger? Harbinger's like, Bruce, what are you doing here? Why'd you bring a date here? And basically, Bruce explains what they're looking for, and Jeannie shows him a picture, and Harbinger's like, hey, Bruce, you should know this man, a young man. He hit you in the head with a frisbee at the company picnic. And Master Detective's like, oh, you're right. I had forgotten. Because I only have a mind. My mind is only focused on one thing. Well, two things. Fighting crime and ladies.
As you do, man. As you do.
And Harbinger's like, he left rather abruptly. What happened to him? And they're like, we don't know. That's what's going on. The computer
found by cannibals, bro.
Yeah, and we see Riordan in the other room's like, uh-oh. So he makes a phone call.
Dude, you can't be doing bad stuff in Wayne Tech, bro. It's going to come back to bite you.
Calling somebody, basically saying, hey, the boss and the bimbo are here, and they're asking too many questions.
Who's who?
Whatever. Oh, and they're both Wayne.
Exactly.
So then Bruce and Jeannie are leaving, and they make plans for what, dinner or something, and then he sees the bat signal in the mirror, and he's like, oh, well, sorry, I forgot. I got something to do. They show her all standing on the corner, all mad. But then Bruce picks up the car phone, calls Gordon.
Yikes.
And he's like, we got more pulverized bodies, but the Bone Crusher's dead. What's going on?
Guess you didn't do your job that well, detective.
It's like, I killed him. What more do you want from me? No, he actually didn't kill the guy this time.
Hang him off the bat plane for good measure next time.
He didn't kill him, but he didn't have to save him either. Then we get more of this street with the homeless guys.
Bum fights! It is the 90s.
That's true.
I'm so glad we've evolved as a society that we don't do that, though.
Have we?
No, not really. I'm just trying to feel good about myself. Shut up, Philip.
Where we don't put it on the internet anymore.
True.
But then we get back to Batman. The SWAT team surrounded someone who's dressed like the Bone Crusher. Another big fella dressed like the Bone Crusher. And the Bone Crusher's trying to escape, and then Batman corners him. And while Batman and Bone Crusher are fighting, we see the blonde homeless guy basically acting out the Bone Crusher's half of the fight.
How interesting.
Homeless shelter. Batman's throwing like smoke grenades at him, trying to slow him down. And that's when Bone Crusher and the homeless guy both mouth the same phrase. You misunderstand. I don't have a scheme.
I am the scheme.
Boom.
Very good villain line. I love it.
Yes, and while the cops come into the homeless shelter and cuff the homeless guy, the Bone Crusher opens up the gas truck and pulls out his Bic lighter and blows himself up.
Phrasing.
You're phrasing. So again, Bone Crusher seemingly killed in a blast.
Again.
Yes. And Gordon and Batman, of course, standing around again. He's like, he's up there.
What is he? Some kind of cat man with 9 lives?
He's like, Gordon's like, Joel's drugs and now fissionable material. What's the pattern?
Find out next issue, maybe.
I love Batman. He's like, I'd ask him, but he has a nasty habit of dying on me. And Gordon's like, well, he's dead now, of course. And Batman's like, is he?
Exactly. Question mark?
And then that's when one of the cops on the scene gets a call. It says, hey, Commissioner, we got a weird call about some guy going crazy in a soup kitchen. He's trashing the place. He's delusional, raving about Batman. But just before they took him out, he said the weirdest thing. I am the scheme. So Batman goes down to the prison to see this guy. And finally recognizes him as the guy from the company picnic.
You don't say.
But, Gordon asks him if he recognizes him. He says no, of course, but then he's like, I want to question him. So he's talking to the guy, and the guy's like, I have memories. I can't remember anything, but I have memories, but they're not mine. I remember trying to kill you, but instead I died.
Yikes, that's awkward.
And so Batman knows his name, so he's like, do you know who Roy Kane is?
Roy Kane.
Why did they just name him Bob Kane and get it over with?
Right? I think that was still a sticky situation at that point, though.
Oh, maybe. He's like, Wayne Technologies, does that ring a bell? No. He's like, a few months ago, I woke up on a subway platform. All I had was a bag of old clothes. No money, no memories, and no name. Who am I?
Remember who you are.
And the justice system in Gotham City, Batman goes to Gordon. I want you to release him into my custody. No questions asked.
He He's rich. That's how rich people roll, homie.
Well. Oh, that's the other thing we'll get to. I mean, supposedly Gordon doesn't know that Bruce is Batman, but does he? Does he?
He does.
We'll get to
Let's
that.
all be honest here. He does.
Well, we'll get to that before the end of this episode. So then, yeah, Bruce. What does it say? 2 nights later, introduces Jeannie to her long lost brother.
Yeah.
So
that happened.
Yeah, well, he took him to a doctor, and he says, yeah, he has no memories, but all his like learned knowledge is intact. Like, he remembers all his biophysics and all his book learning.
Interesting.
The EEG didn't turn up any abnormal brain activity, but there was a puzzling irregularity on the CAT scan.
It's always the CAT scan.
So he introduces Roy to his sister, and he also had a surgical scar just below his hairline.
That's not suspicious at all.
Do you know what a biochip is, kids?
Because you're gonna learn what a biochip is today.
That's right. Because Bruce is like an information processing unit, much like a computer microchip, except it's made of organic material. We've done some research in the field at Wayne Technologies.
Or in the Batcave.
Yeah, so Roy and Jeannie are just like staying with Bruce at the mansion, and basically Jeannie's telling Roy about his life, and Bruce is trying to play detective, put the clues together.
But he's just distracted by this young blonde lady.
Well, again, he's thinking it through. Roy was an employee at Wayne Tech 6 months ago, but then he mysteriously disappeared and has no memory. Another fact, Bone Crusher.
Mm-hmm.
Basically shows up and dies twice. Fact, Roy has a biochip implanted in him. And Bruce is just like, how many lives have been destroyed? But Bruce is just like, my company.
Yeah. If you weren't out playing Batman all night, you might actually catch it before it happens.
Mm-hmm. And so then Bruce and Roy are working out in the gym, and he's like, I don't remember anything except for all of a sudden, all I remember is one word, a code name, Sunday. So then Bruce is looking through, of course he has a backdoor into the Wayne Enterprises computer. Cause,
why wouldn't he?
Well, he says, he's like, I designed the system, and two, he's Batman, so.
Exactly.
Well, he has a backdoor into everyone's system.
Hey-o.
Phrasing. He finds a Project Sabat. And they're like, Alfred's like, Sabbath? Sir, the Sabbath is Sunday.
God.
But then he sees even Bruce is being denied access to the system. Someone's in there. And of course, Riordan's like, oh, bad news. It's happened. But then chapter 3, again, Roy and Jeannie still hanging around the mansion talking, and till Roy seems to have some kind of seizure.
Yeah.
And again, seeming to act out someone else's actions as the alarm goes off in the manor. And Jeannie's like, no, tell me what's going on. As Alfred's saying, someone's breached the east gate.
Is that what the kids are calling it these days?
Ew. But then the Bone Crusher shows up, and him and Roy are like basically saying the same thing in stereo. Monkey see, monkey do. Until Bone Crusher blasts Roy with a blast from his dish. Which everyone else has pretty much been like broken bones or died, and Roy's gonna get up from this.
Oh yeah.
Oh, but the Bone Crusher's like, I've come for you, Bruce. You're wanted in surgery. Oh, they want to put an implant in him. Take control of Bruce Wayne.
Oh no.
Ooh. Then Bone Crusher's threatening to kill Roy until Alfred shoots him with a tranquilizer from behind.
He's used to that motion.
Gives him the old Cosby.
Yeah, Alfred's definitely used to that motion.
Oh! And Bruce is like, I'm going to have to look under this mask finally. But then, boy, somebody booby-trapped his mask. Now you know how it feels, huh, buddy?
Right?
It's a self-destruct. Again, nothing left to identify. And I guess now Roy's starting to remember stuff. He's like, Project Sebat. That's what I was working on. It's got nothing to do with Sunday. It's an acronym. Surgically augmented biochip bearing assault troops. In other words, remote controlled killers. The plot thickens. And then we see Batman hanging outside Wayne Tech. He's like, all right, I know Riordan's in on it. All right, who else is in on this? Because guys are moving equipment and Batman's taking out the goons. Then he drops down in the lab and comes across Dr. Harbinger's assistant Theodore crying because it looked like Harbinger is dead. And Batman.
What even is this plot at this point?
I don't know. But then Batman threatens Theodore. He's like, give me the access code for the computer or I'll crush your windpipe. I was like, shouldn't Bruce have a back door to this one too?
Can't be everywhere all the time.
Unless it's off the system. And
I think they probably did make it off the system. That makes the most sense.
But then he discovers Harbinger's diary on the computer about, the whole biochip thing, and it's basically been Harbinger driving the Bone Crushers.
You don't say.
And he even talks about the break-in and fighting Batman and killing off the bodies when he's about to be discovered. And then there's even a entry about how Roy was going to blow the whistle on them and how they basically wiped his mind. He's like, yeah, we just dumped him on the subway somewhere. And I saw him in downtown once. I gave him $1. He was happy. So then basically they bring everything, the diary brings you up to date. He's like, I cannot dislike Bruce. He has a quick intelligence combined, alas, with an asinine personality.
Ouch.
Product of wealth and leisure, I suppose. Still, he might have amounted to something had he put his mind to it.
Damn.
Then we see how, this evil organization is basically, basically the crap's hitting the fan, and so, Bruce Wayne got away, and Riordan, who's old and in a wheel, or Harbinger, who's old in a wheelchair, is basically saying, I'm about to be killed, all this is happening, I'm going to affect a total mind transfer.
Hey, when in Rome, do as Romans do.
I'm either going to die or be in a new body, but at this point,
it doesn't matter.
Nothing to lose. So Batman tells Theodore he can stop whimpering. He's not dead. He's escaped.
What in the Wayland Smithers is that relationship about?
So then we see Riordan the next morning cleaning up the lab, and basically Bruce is like, no, you know what? I know all about your cartel. You're finished. The whole thing's finished. So are you. I'm going to tell the authorities. And Riordan's like, I don't know if I do that. I might want to take a look at these documents.
Uh-oh.
I have signatures here. Everything was approved by Mr. Bruce Wayne.
And the plot thickens.
Mm-hmm. He's like, we can make big money here, Bruce.
Like, I'm already a billionaire, thanks.
He's like, in our cartel, we have this whole invisible global spy network. And he's like, Bruce, just fund your silly little charities. Let us be the real power behind Wayne Tech. And Roy Orton's like, oh yeah, we have these documents he's supposedly signed, and you know what else we have? He's like, we've done some research on you. He's like, we've traced your every step for the last 15 years. He's like, you heard me. We know what you were doing overseas all those years. And he's like, we have an explanation, and it's quite the corker. He's like, if you want to, he's like, play ball or this all goes public. And Bruce is like, nope. The answer's still the same. So then he goes home, and we have some government types there. And Bruce is like, okay, all right, gentlemen, I guess you know my secret, so I guess there's no point in pretending. So they start cuffing them, and the issue ends with them. Just read him his rights. And let's get this commie spy out of here. So that's how the first oversized issue ends, people. The government, they don't think he's Batman. They think he's a communist, people. Remember, it's 1989. Commie, traitor to our country. Remember that Seinfeld episode?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so then Detective Comics, $5.99. The only regular-sized issue in this arc. I'm like, 2 out of 3 at this point. Why don't you just make them all oversized?
Budget, bro, budget.
I guess. But then, it opens up with, basically the TV. Everyone's giving their, the Bruce Wayne stories all over the TV. And basically everyone, oh, yeah, these rich guys trying to pass the buck. Basically, Bruce Wayne at the courthouse, and even his lawyers are like, come on, Bruce, give us the truth so we can, create a defense for you. And they're like, oh, look, you knew this guy, Chu Chin Lee. What were you doing with this guy? And he's like, he was my teacher. And they're like, what the hell did he teach you? As they just show, kung fu flashbacks.
Rich guys over there learning kung fu.
Yep, basically teaching them how to control pain and endure suffering.
It's about life. You don't need a teacher for that.
And the lawyers are like, you're holding out on us. Come on. They're like, a rich American winds up in a godforsaken monastery with an old Asian martial arts master. Why? He's like, you know how it is. It's not like the line from Batman Begins. People are passing weaponized hallucinogens around the clock.
Exactly.
He goes, you know how it is. College kids, Eastern mysticism. People go through silly phases. And again, the flashback, basically the master's like, I see a sense of fatal ambivalence in your heart. The way is no mere discipline. It is to be studied, and it is no mere discipline to be studied and sampled. It is a philosophy of life. It requires total submission. There's nothing more I can teach you until you choose between this world and the one you left. And Bruce is like, yeah, no. My mission.
You don't know what you're talking about. Goodbye.
I gotta be chasing around women in skin tight suits over on the rooftops. No, okay. And the lawyers are saying, yeah, his other pupils were sons of diplomats, Red Army regulars, not to mention assorted members of the Chinese mafia.
Ooh, fancy.
So I guess they're thinking this guy is brainwashed Bruce.
Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, you're running with a rough crowd. I know they're like, if you're innocent, then just tell the truth. It's your only defense. We just see Bruce imagining sitting in court going, let me explain, Your Honor. It's all quite simple. I'm not really a foreign agent. Just between us, I'm Batman. Sitting there in the bat suit, he's thinking, yeah, some defense.
Lock him up. Lock him up.
But then they show him back at home, talking to Alfred about Harbinger and checking out the equipment. Yeah. And he's like, they're going over the project logs, and Bruce is like, there's no proof Harbinger wrote it. Even though we have his diary, there's no proof he wrote it. There is one person who can verify Harbinger's authorship, his assistant Theodore, who gets a letter from Harbinger saying, here, come meet me.
That's not suspicious at all.
So Theodore goes out in the middle of the night and meets... It gets attacked by a guy with a knife. And again, Bruce is having the same nightmare.
Yikes.
And Alfred's like, if you want to talk about it, and of course we know Bruce is a big talker. But then Alfred says, there's a message from your attorneys regarding Theodore. He was found this morning in Holiday Plaza, stabbed to death. I should do that every freaking page.
Basically, that's what it seems like.
And so Bruce goes downstairs to talk to Roy and Jeannie. And he's like, for all you guys know, I'm guilty. And Jeannie's like, no, we won't forget what you've done for us. And Bruce is like, I'd like to forget too, but it seems I don't have that option. And then meanwhile, it seems like the cartel has their own Batcave. I guess they're trying to recreate Harbinger's work, but seems like they just keep killing all their subjects. And then was it what's his face? Riordan says they have a surprise cooked up for Bruce Wayne. And again, we see the lawyer still talking to Bruce. Korea, Thailand, the Philippines. Like, well, you're in the middle of the Golden Triangle, a hotbed of drug runners and global racketeers. And this thing with Tatsumoto, your Yakuza pal. What's his obsession? Do you have a pathological fear of muggers? I'd be like, yeah, do you know what happened to my parents?
Exactly.
And it's more than learning to fight. It's a spiritual discipline. This guy's basically know your body and master it. So I guess this is the guy who taught him how to sleep only 1 hour a night. Yes, time is a subjective thing. A year can be lived in a single second. Make time your ally. So they basically just show Bruce learning fighting ninjas. He showed him taking down 4 ninjas, no loss of life. You've earned your diploma by surviving. Allow me to congratulate you. The teacher tries to kill him.
As you do.
Oh, it appears you've taken a bullet in the leg. Oh. So the guy's like, okay, it seems you've instinctively learned how to staunch the bleeding. Now write me a check. And the lawyers are now saying, yeah, Bruce, it's bad. You fit the psychological profile. Your parents died at a young age, You're like ripe for plucking by some cult.
Not wrong. Ra's al Ghul thought the same thing, basically.
Oh, yeah. When he's like, I'm not some weak-willed dupe. And that's when they bring up another name. They're like, oh, yeah, well, what about this next guy? I think this is the first appearance. You're like, what about this guy? Henry Ducard. Who Liam Neeson was pretending to be in Batman Begins. Which made the whole psych out work, because there was actually a Henry Ducard in the comics.
Exactly. I was just like, oh, you did your homework. I'm so glad.
Yes. I heard he's some kind of freelance troubleshooter, quote unquote. But basically, Bruce trailed him and told him, yeah, I want to learn from you, and I want to be your apprentice, and which amused Ducard. The lawyer's like, yeah, he started that way. Now he's neck deep in the illegal arms trade. Makes millions as a middleman. Henry Ducard is a remorseless pig. He'd do anything for money.
He Damn, son. Damn.
And the lawyers are like, yeah, well, that's a bad news because, he's gonna get his record wiped clean. He's gonna get complete immunity if he testifies against you, and he arrives tomorrow. And Bruce is like, oh man, he's thinking, no, Ducard's in Gotham, what a nightmare. He'll lie his brains out just for the fun of it. And worse yet, he's a deductive genius. If there's anyone who could draw the connection between Bruce Wayne and Batman, because that's such a hard secret to figure out.
Slightly harder than Superman's Clark Kent. So.
And then we get this, not so subtle scene with Bruce, and Gordon comes up. He's like, I've been called as a character witness. He's like, there's certain suspicions I've had I've never been able to prove. He's like, but if it comes out, I'll speak out in public on the stand.
No, you won't.
He even says, literally, do you get my drift? And Bruce can't say I do. And he's like, even Gordon's like, there's no time to play dumb. Your life's on the line. And Bruce is like, well, if it's all the same to you, I'll fight my own battles. I always have. And that's when he goes outside the courthouse, and Bruce, all the reporters are out there. And then we see the homeless guy Roy was hanging with on the streets. Roy's like, hey, T-Bone, what are you doing? That's when T-Bone pushes Roy to the side and yells, die, traitor, as he pulls out a gun and shoots Bruce Wayne.
Ooh.
Not a trick, man. He guns him down on the courthouse stairs. Because even Roy Orton's there, and one of the guys is like, did you authorize this? He's like, no, I wish I had thought of it, but no. Everyone's yelling, he's alive, get an ambulance. Basically, the issue ends with Gordon putting up the bat signal, but and he tells the guy on duty, no, turn it off. I don't think he's coming.
Noise.
Trying to confirm your suspicions, Gordon?
Somebody get Dick Grayson on the phone.
Oh, Dick Grayson even bothering with him at this point.
I know.
Titans land. This is weird. This is like this is in between. It's like Jason Todd's dead. Tim Drake hasn't shown up yet.
He's all alone.
Alfred's gonna put on that suit. All right, so now Detective Comics 600.
Batman has so many milestones.
Kidney stones, milestones. Well, yeah, when you're around 80 years, you have a lot of milestones. It's the 50th anniversary. But yeah, it opens up. We see Ducard arriving in Gotham.
And guess what? He's a manhunter, but not that kind of manhunter.
No, and he's not from Mars either. And yeah, he's walking through the airport and he sees the headline about Bruce Wayne's in a coma.
He recovered pretty quick from that coma, though.
Accused traitor near death. And Ducard's thinking, boy, maybe I showed up for nothing now. If Bruce dies, I can't testify. And then
Batman hasn't been seen for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But meanwhile, Gordon's trying his best to not make it seem like Batman disappeared.
Yep, and hey, T-Bone's cleaned himself up, and he's walking around in suits, but no, it's really Harbinger, T-Bone's body.
Mm-hmm.
Because he set a bunch of money aside, and he's like, this new body's admittedly no prize. But the legs work. He's like, and with the occasional bath, scabs have healed. So
poor Bruce is in a wheelchair.
Well, first he wakes up in the hospital, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the doctors even tell Alfred, he's like, don't tell him just yet, but chances are he'll never walk again.
We've heard that before.
Yeah, because as they say that, you see Bruce laying in bed with the bat signal shining outside. Symbolism. But yeah, like you were saying, yeah, Gordon and his guys they bust some smuggling ring, and I guess Gordon asked the guy in charge, he's like, he's like, officially we'll get the collar. He's like, but if the press asks, tell them Batman, did the legwork. And the guy's like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, Batman's, deserted us. And Gordon's like, yeah, but if word gets out, we're going to be looking at a huge crime wave. Because I've relied on one vigilante the whole time.
Hell, even the Green Lanterns can't show their damn face in Gotham without his permission. So
I know. But the cop's like, okay. He's like, I'll go along with you. He's like, Batman saved my life once.
You know what these issues feel like? A grittier take on Batman the animated series. Honestly, it feels like this will be an arc in that TV show.
True. I mean, I think they did adapt some of the comic books for the animated series.
Yeah.
But then we see Ducard meeting with Riordan, and they learn Bruce is going to survive.
Of course.
Basically, okay. Yeah, we'll wipe your record clean with all these countries: France, Italy, Jordan, the Philippines, El Salvador.
He's been a busy boy.
Yeah, and even Ducard's thinking, Bruce Wayne accused of espionage. What a laughable proposition. Then he sees the headline about Batman foiling the smuggling ring. Then we see Bruce leaving the hospital in the wheelchair. I love the doctor's like, hey, our x-rays turned up a number of old injuries, not related to the shooting. He's like, we've tallied 32 broken bones, a shocking amount of scar tissue. He's like, what have you been up to, Wayne? And he's like,
into kinky sex. Leave him alone.
Oh, hey now.
I mean, Catwoman was a dominatrix. Just saying.
Whipped,
just saying.
And who knows what the hell Talia's up to.
Oh, you don't even want to know. So I'll just say that those Buddhist monk techniques come in handy.
Ooh, the Kama Sutra, you say? That's what he should have told him. He was like, yeah, I'm a bored rich guy. I was studying like different sexual techniques all over the world. But I love the excuse he gives the doctor. He's like, when I was a kid, I fell off a tree. The doctor's like, fell out of a tree.
Repeatedly. No, I fell down a hole into a cave once.
That's what he should have said. And the doctor's like, fell out of a tree. And Bruce is like, it was a tall tree. He's like, Alfred, let's go.
None of your damn business. Thomas Wayne was abusive. There, I said it.
And so, yeah, Alfred's loading him into the car, and he's like, take us back, drive us through the Batcave entrance because it, doesn't have wheelchair access. And he wants to get into the computer. And again,
but that so this is why you don't leave people alone at Wayne Manor.
No, because there's more government stooges. Again, they also have another warrant. They're ripping up the house, looking for whatever. And after they don't find anything, they leave. And Jeannie and Roy are just like, "Oh, not again." So Roy says he'll clean up in the study.
Yeah.
He must find a secret button on the desk.
Yeah, behind the bookshelf.
Mm-hmm. So, hey, find a secret door. He's going to go through it. So Bruce and Alfred are driving into the Batcave, and the alarm's going off.
And then Bruce accepts help from Roy, who wants to be his remote control soldier. I'm like, what is this? Is this an episode of Arrow where Felicity's in the Atom suit? Because this is what this feels like.
Bruce is manipulative.
Yeah, but would he really let somebody do this? No, not my Batman.
It's a dark time, love Hellfire.
It really is.
But yeah, then Ducard's thinking about Batman, and
he's come to the conclusion.
And his flashy villains.
Yeah.
Well, he's thinking about it. He's like all these flashy villains. He's like, true evil seldom announces itself so loudly.
Shots fired at the Joker. Shots fired at the Penguin.
I know. But then he's thinking, if it wasn't for Bruce's injuries, I would think he was Batman. But then we see a report. Some reporters questioning Gordon. He's like, how about it, Gordon? Is there some kind of cover up? Word on the street is Batman's vanished for almost 2 weeks.
Dun dun dun.
So
dun dun dun.
Ducard just scowling while he lights his cigarette. And then we see,
We
Jeannie.
see
Jeannie
Oh
the
no, we're not going to talk about Harbinger walking around the city using the device, like it's voice activated now.
Oh yeah, because he can make people do whatever he wants. So he just tells some guy to give him what was it, $100? Yeah.
I need some of that.
But yeah, we see Roy telling Bruce, "I would never rat you out after all you've done for me." And yeah, then the scene in question, hey, he's like, "I can help you, clean this mess up." And Bruce is like, "How? You're no detective." He's like, "I would if I had the right pilot."
Yeah.
Well, Bruce doesn't agree right away.
Yeah, I know.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just the idea.
yeah. We see Harbinger. He paralyzes one of the cartel's men. He basically tells him, "You're paralyzed except for your eyelids for your whole rest of your life."
Damn.
He's like, "It might wear off someday, but." You know what they say about omelets and eggs.
But I can't believe Alfred actually helped Roy to convince Bruce or whatever.
Oh, I know. I love
Like, Alfred, get your old ass in the bat suit and just go.
Well, at this point, Alfred knew he wasn't no Batman.
I know.
He says to Roy, he's like, "What if I get stuck in your body?" And Roy's like, "No offense, old buddy, but you'd be coming out ahead on that deal."
Yeah.
So yeah, while Bruce and Jeannie are outside, quote unquote, Roy comes out with a tray full of like tea and stuff. He's like, "Huh, Bruce, huh?" And Bruce is like, "Jeannie, I'm kind of cold. Can you get me a blanket?" Then the minute she's gone, he's like, "Alfred."
And then Jeannie, she's like, "Yeah, we're perfect for each other." I'm just like, okay, this is going misery levels of crazy.
You don't got no suit or no whip or no malfunctioning zipper. What are you talking about?
You're blonde. It only works in the movies.
Gold digger.
I ain't saying she's a gold digger, but she ain't hitting on no broke.
So then that night, I guess, we see Roy in a bat suit, and Bruce is like, "Okay, this is just a test run."
And oh boy cannot keep up. He's exhausted. He's wiped.
Oh, I know, but because Bruce and Roy's body shows up, above Gordon, so he's not too close. So Gordon can't tell the difference. But Gordon's like, "Are you injured or what's going on?" And Bruce is like, "Hey, you've switched tobaccos." So of course Gordon's like, "Oh yeah, the corner store is at." Thinking, "Oh, it must be him." But yeah, Bruce swings away and he's like, "Damn, this body's tired already." He's like, "Damn, this poor devil thinks he's in shape."
Exactly.
But then he sees a domestic situation. He swings in, kicks the guy. Then he's like, "I better use a knockout dart." And he's like, "There's no way Roy's body's taking him down." But then the cops show up and he's like, "You know what? Usually don't parade in front of the cameras, but now's a good time." And it's on the next day. Roy's like, "Damn." He's like, "You got one of those pain pills?" There you go. Let Bruce Wayne take your body out a couple days, man. That's a good workout.
Oh yeah. Can we have this technology? You can just.
Someone else does the exercise for you. Oh.
I think that's a $1 trillion idea right there.
Oh hell yeah! You'd be a millionaire probably in a week.
Any biophysicist, give me a call.
The only problem would just be the time. You'd have to, you would need a staff to work out all these people. Then we see Roy Orton and the cartel. They still can't get the technology right. Roy Orton's talking to Ducard about how him and Bruce were tracking this killer Jeremiah.
Jeremiah is a terrible name for me.
Yeah.
And Jerome as well.
And Bruce was skilled, but he just couldn't take that last step and kill. And he even says to Roy Orton, he's like, "My theory is Bruce is Batman." And Roy Orton's like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Well," Ducard says, "No one's seen Batman since Bruce was shot." And Roy Orton's like, "What about this newspaper from yesterday?" And then, so of course, Riordan doesn't buy it, but then 2 seconds after he walks out the door, Ducard's like, "Wait a minute, he has Harbinger's tech. He could use another body." And that's when Riordan gets the call that a bunch of their guys are just like paralyzed now, and or think they're babies. That's when Harbinger shows up and tells Riordan, "You are the equivalent of George Washington. You cannot tell a lie." Damn.
Well,
But
I think your suit's ugly. There, I said it.
No, it's plot device for the end. But
I know.
Back at home, Bruce and Alfred have made access to the Batcave now voice activated. You have to have the unique voice print.
Shouldn't it have been an eye scan or something?
89, well, how far?
I mean, they were doing that in the Mission Impossible. Okay, whatever.
They're busy. They had to build the ramp to get the wheelchair down the steps too.
They were prepping for old man Batman. Batman Beyond.
Oh, hey, but look here. I mean, Bruce actually is smart for once. He's like, instead of risking Roy's body, he's like, "I'm going to put the helmet on Alfred, start turning the dials, and, maybe I'll find Harbinger quicker that way."
Yeah.
And he ends up in the body of one of the Bone Crushers.
Yikes.
Who, Harbinger is taking control of everyone in the room, but he's like, since Bruce is remote controlled already, he's not under his control. So Harbinger's packing up the rest of his equipment and taking off with it. Bruce starts to chase after him on foot. But then he loses the body because Alfred's like, "I don't know. I was worried you were twitching and shuddering." So Alfred took him out of the body. See, Bruce could have cleaned it up right there.
Yep.
And no messy after, which we will get. So they try again. He can't find that body anymore. So then Bruce is like, "Let me see that sketch of the guy who shot me. I think it's Harbinger's new body."
So we're going to send it to GCPD, who is ill-equipped to deal with this.
Yes. But then Ducard shows up.
Yeah.
He's
like, "I know your secret, but I'm going to help you at trial if you give me a new identity."
He was like, "Hey, the cartel's willing to pay me and wipe my record." He's like, "Hey, just pay me more and I'll testify on your behalf."
Well, no. The only way he can pay him more is with the new identity. So
yes, he wants the new identity. And he's like, "How would I do that?" And he's like, "Harbinger's device, the same device you use when you run around in that silly cape." And Bruce is like, He's like, yes, I know you're far too ethical ever to use the corrupt technology you stole." Not really.
Exactly.
Well, he's too ethical to admit it anyway. So Roy walks in, Ducard leaves. And then Commissioner Gordon gets a fax from the Batman.
What's my age again?
He's basically, he's like, he's faxed them the sketch of Harbinger's new body. T-Bone. Another Seinfeld reference. T-Bone.
Your name doesn't even start with a T.
Coco the monkey. So then we see, quote unquote, Roy telling Jeannie, I don't think it's going to work between you and Bruce.
Yikes.
But meanwhile, it's actually Bruce in Roy's body. Because he's a coward.
Yeah, Bruce is definitely a coward when he's not behind the cowl.
That's
for
right.
Sure.
So he's like, "I'm going out again. Keep an eye on my body there, Alfred." And then we see the cartel's basically turned on Riordan because now he's telling the truth about everything. He's like, it's Harbinger. They're like, Harbinger's dead. But I guess the cops have tracked down Riordan or Harbinger, but so he blows himself up and he's going to transfer himself into another body for the last time.
Yikes.
Yes, he blows up the apartment with his body. Oh, the SWAT team's coming up, so he probably blows up some SWAT team. Batman sees the explosion, can't get distracted. I've got to keep up with Riordan, who he's following. He's like, hopefully he'll lead me straight to Harbinger. So Batman finds the cartel. Harbinger's transferred his mind into one of the bone crushers. Batman's like, hopefully he can take all these guys down in Roy's body. Luckily, the guards are easy, but the bone crushers are showing up. And Harbinger says he thinks he has Batman frozen, but of course, again, Batman's not frozen because he's being remote controlled. So Batman's actually doing good taking out these bone crushers in Roy's body.
Roy did a couple push-ups.
Although he's like, Roy's gonna regret this in the morning.
He fell out of a tall tree.
Harbinger takes off in the last bone crusher body. Batman follows him onto the elevated train tracks. Yeah, that's gonna work out good.
It's always an elevated train, isn't it?
In Gotham. And so he swoops down, but basically breaks his ankle on the tracks.
Yikes.
So Harbinger's about to come over and kill him, and Bruce is like, Alfred, change the frequency to the one I was in before, because Harbinger is now in the body the bone crusher Bruce was in before. So he shatters his arm with the sound waves, but then Alfred switches. Bruce is in the bone crusher body. Roy's back in his body, but he's like, what happened? There's a train coming.
It's always a train.
Bruce has the bone crusher. It's like, come on, Roy. It's me, it's Bruce. But then they both get hit by the train and knocked off the tracks. And both hit the street. Then we see Bruce screaming in his own body again. As the cops are cleaning up what looks like the dead body of Batman.
Ouch. This is all his plan secret.
Yes. So then Bruce, back in his body at home, tells Jeannie the whole story. You know, him being Batman, how he's ruined everything. And Bruce is like, I wouldn't have had this happen for anything in the world. But Roy went into it with his eyes wide open. He knew it was dangerous. And even Jeannie's like, isn't that what rapists say?
Ooh. Yikes.
And she's like, she's like, oh, don't worry, I'm not going to tell anyone about your secret identity because, continuity. But she's like, I'm leaving. You can burn in hell. So, and we never saw her again. But meanwhile, Riordan was spilling his guts to the feds because, he cannot tell a lie.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, the cartel has hired Ducard now to kill Riordan, which my sniper shot to the head is coming up.
Perfect time to call in Deadshot, but
Perfect,
that's fine.
Perfect symmetry. Riordan gets killed dead on the steps of the courthouse.
Yeah. Hey, man, it's super connected.
Ooh. And then at home we see Gordon's talking to Bruce as he's going, See, this is what you need. You need physical therapy in your house because the amount of car accidents you've been in. In 3 weeks, he gets the pins out of his hip. Because, And Gordon's like, I know it was your house guest in the Batman suit. He's like, I know you're not going to tell me what happened, but I know
Batman needs to take a break. I totally get it.
But he's like, I know he wasn't Batman. I saw him and Batman together because I remember issue 598. And he's like, Batman
is a network of people, okay?
He's like, I could let the world keep thinking Batman's dead, and he's like, hey, Batman's probably feeling like crap right now, so if he wanted to quit, I wouldn't blame him. And Bruce basically just says, do whatever you think is right. So basically, no, I'm not quitting.
Wouldn't this have been perfect though? Issue 600, no more Batman forever.
Yeah, with the big movie coming, yeah.
It would have been perfect. It's like, this sums it up. This is it, kids.
This is the start of Batman Beyond.
Exactly.
See, what if that would have been Batman Beyond, but just Bruce driving a younger body?
Isn't that basically Batman Incorporated?
But we see Ducard leaving the country, and he leaves Bruce a
little letter. Mm-hmm. Back when people wrote letters like our moms and pa's once did.
Not in that newfangled email way. You said Moz. But yeah, then in the Batcave we see Bruce and Alfred torching the device. No more body swapping.
And that's when Bruce comes to realize if Batman must survive, that Bruce can't ever have a normal life. And he accepts it for justice is blind. Blind as a bat.
Yep.
Ha, ha, ha. Joke's on you.
See? Justice, blind. There you go.
Blind as a bat. Ha, 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 ha.
But yeah, did you see, like, in issue 600, they had in the back, they had a bunch of pinup pages, and they had, like, famous people.
Oh, the people, yeah, the notable.
Adam West wrote something. Hell, Stan Lee wrote something.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Because it's Batman.
And it's 50 years, and that's an accomplishment. They can't take away from DC, no matter how hard they try.
That's right. So that's your oversized coverage of these oversized issues of Batman's 50th anniversary.
I'll say 80 was better, and I'm actually going to be able to see 100, so that's pretty cool. I'll be old as dirt, but I will see 100.
So what, another 20 years? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I'll be in, like, my early 60s.
Yeah. It's okay.
So, well, yeah, I guess, yeah. Detective 1000 was better than Detective 600. You agree?
Si, senor.
So, yes, I've been around for Detective 600, 700, 800, 900, 1000. Oh, my Lord. You're going to feel old when we get to a Detective 1100.
Oh, really old. I'll be in the wheelchair. But my quiver will have wheelchair access. I'm going to build it right now.
Amazing. Little Hellfire's going to be that old lady who likes spreading the STDs in the nursing home.
Nah.
No, you're clean.
I'm the Rose. Charlie's the Blanche. Everybody knows that.
Oh, my Lord. I don't want to ask who that makes me.
You're Sophia.
Yeah.
Maz is Dorothy.
You're going to tell us all your old stories from St. Olaf?
Picture it, Sicily. 2002.
That's me. Picture it.
Pittsburgh, 2001. At the mall.
Picture
Spinnerax everywhere.
Picture it. Capes and Lunatics, episode 50.
Spinnerax as far as the eye can see.
Yeah.
Toys R Us are still open.
All right, should we get out of here?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, everyone. So, again, we're back. At least till the Arrowverse is back. Send your thoughts. What did you think of this arc? And next episode, we're going to be covering Batman 452 through 454. Dark Knight, Dark City. Featuring a different Riddler tale. I tried to pick some very different.
Some lesser known arcs. I got you, buddy.
And I think maybe the first mention of Barbathos.
I think it is, actually.
So if you like that stuff from Grant Morrison and stuff, hey, you're going to get the origin of Barbathos, sort of. And a dark Riddler. Anyway, so send your thoughts, capesandlunatics@gmail.com. Call the voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. You should have this all memorized. I do, people. And if you don't want to memorize all this Capes and Lunatics social media and the links to our merch or our YouTube or any of that, all you have to do is remember one, that's Linktree, linktr.ee/Capes and Lunatics, all one word. And remember, go support our sponsors. Go get Pod Life the book. Go check out To Hunt a Killer. And check out the link in the show notes when you go on the Amazon, you can support the Southgate Media Groups, and so you can keep getting quality programming such as you heard right here. And now, Miss Lilith Hellfire.
Wait, did you mention if you need new headphones? Because it is the holiday season. You could always use Tweaked Audio.
That's right, and use the code word Southgate. Although I'm sure you probably heard that ad somewhere in here.
Definitely. Just a reminder, since we're getting all the sponsors in.
And Lilith Hellfire. Speaking of trading bodies, where can people get a hold of you on the internet?
If you want to hang out with me on the interwebs, you can find me on Twitter via @LilithHellfire, and of course on the gram @LilithHellfire69. You know I had to. Hello, Megan.
My combo.
Hello, Megan. It never gets old.
It never does. Everyone else listening is just like, oh yeah, really? But yes, thank you for joining us once again for all the body swapping fun. Again, join us next time for Dark Knight, Dark City from Batman 454. Send your thoughts. It's Demon and Riddler. I don't want to spoil anything else. Maybe zombies? The Walking Dead. Oh, that's I just put that tag on next episode. Walking Dead. See, we're hitting some obscure origins. We got the first appearance of Ducard. We're gonna get the first appearance of Barbatos next episode. Come on.
Yeah, no, I like it.
I'm smart.
With smart.
And tell him Ducard sent you.